best team that I've ever been on was a competitive soccer team during the last 2 years of high school. We would have practices 3 or 4 times a week with games on Saturdays and Sundays. There were 15 of us on the team, with 1 coach and 2 team captains. The captains were in charge of organizing different people on the field during games and practices, but were considered the captains of the whole team, not just their section. We worked well together, everyone got along, we listened to directions and worked hard. Now I'll explain why this was the best team I've ever been on in more detail. We were incredibly motivated. We were intrinsically motivated to win and to improve our performance in games. There were individual goals, like wanting to score points, and team goals, like completing enough give-and-goes, improving passes and one-touches, etc. The theories of motivation that makes the most sense in relation to our group behavior were intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation was a large component of the team's motivation because we all wanted to succeed and enjoyed playing soccer. In the acquired needs framework, the needs that people were trying to satisfy were the need for achievement, wanting to win games and score goals, and the need for affiliation, wanting to be part of a team and be social. Leadership was incredibly important within the context of our team. There were 2 team captains who were both leaders and helped coach with the more managerial tasks like running practices. The coach was also a leader and a manager, but mostly dealt with the managerial aspects to keep the team running smoothly. Technically, all 3 people, both team captains and the coach, were formal leaders. However, the coach was the foremost leader and ran the practices and coordinated games. The 2 captains served as examples of what the rest of the team's behavior should look like. The coach and captains used both job-centered and employee-centered styles of leadership during different situations. They used the job-centered style when we wanted to focus on winning a game, accomplishing goals, and employee-centered style during practices when we were listened to on what we wanted to work on / practice doing. The coach used path goal theory by clarifying that by practicing in a focused manner, our behavior, it would lead to winning games and scoring goals, desired rewards. It was the participative and directional types of leadership outlined by the path goal theory. Transformational leadership was used by the coach and the team captains. Both helped inspire the rest of the team to transcend their own self-interests, like hogging the ball, for the good of the team's performance, like passing the ball to a teammate. Overall, this was the best team that I've ever been on because the team was very cohesive, got things done, was very motivated to perform well, and we all got along well.
The worst team I was ever on was my high school capstone class. There were about 20 of us, and we were tasked with planning and executing a community event. We decided to do a lip dub video, which had a lot of planning involved. Coming to this decision required making a non-program decision, and seeing as though we were a large group of high school seniors anxious to graduate, we definitely utilized satisficing in our decision. The lip dub video seemed good enough and not nearly as complicated as it ended up being. As a group, we became less cohesive as the project went on because those of us who were doing a lot of the planning felt underappreciated and overworked, and were annoyed that our classmates wouldn't participate even when we asked them to do so. And our classmates were annoyed by our constant asking for them to participate instead of just letting them do it at their own pace. This caused tension between the 2 students and I who had taken on the lead on coordinating and planning. This caused many of our classmates to let us just take it on our own and not help. Overall, this was a bad team because it wasn't cohesive, only a few people actually did the work, and people were reluctant to follow through with the task they were assigned, which caused tension.
An effective team has homogeneous composition where group members are more similar to one another. Smaller rather than larger size teams are ideal because as size decreases, satisfaction, social interaction, and participation increases. Group cohesion is also extremely important for a successful team. If a group likes each other, they will be more committed to staying together. Another important aspect of a good team is informal leadership. A good team possesses transformational leadership where the leader inspires its members to transcend their own self-interest for the good of the organization. They also recognize the need for change, create a vision to guide that change, and execute the change effectively. An effective team leader also utilizes job-centered and employee-centered tactics for accomplishing goals and to achieve the desired rewards of the group. A bad team has a large-sized group, which decreases satisfaction, social interaction, and participation. The more people that are in the group can lead to social loafing. Large group size can also lead to groupthink. A bad team also isn't cohesive. If a group doesn't like each other, they won't be committed to staying together. Another aspect of a bad team is when the informal leader only utilizes job-centered or employee-centered tactics. A good leader uses both to accomplish group tasks while also emphasizing interpersonal interactions with employees.